Hi everyone, this is Christina, better known as Xtina, and this is my very first weight loss surgery vlog pre-op thing. I wanted to document the process because obviously this is a big deal. This is like a life-changing event, and I think it'll be cool to kind of have this video journal to kind of look back on as the process is going on so that I can have something to look back to and compare it to, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. So I guess I can start with my starting stats. Um, I guess my highest ever recorded weight is 400 pounds, and that was back in May of this year when I initially first had my consult with my surgeon. Um, right now I am 375, so I've lost 25-ish pounds. I'm 5'10" and I'm 31. I guess that's everything. So actually on Wednesday, today's Monday the 7th, so Wednesday, November 9th, 2016, I will be undergoing gastric bypass with Dr. Jeffrey Franza at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. And I guess the thing everyone wonders is why weight loss surgery, why gastric bypass, whatever the case may be. And I think for me, it was a really difficult decision to come to because, well, part of it is because I guess admitting that you can't do something on your own is that's just not in my character. I'm just so fiercely independent and I can do anything that I set my mind to. So the thought of getting to a level where I have to accept the fact that this is something that I cannot do on my own, as obviously 31 years has shown, and also just reaching out for help. You know, I guess swallowing that pride enough to be able to say, okay, enough is enough. Like, let's actually get this taken care of once and for all. So that was kind of like a big step. And I think that's what took me so long, because I think it's been in the back of my head for maybe the last 2 years, maybe 2.5. Um, I just, I don't know. It was always in my mind as like an option, but it wasn't really a reality for me just because I always felt kind of like not like a hack, but you see, a lot of these shows like My 600-Pound Life, and you're like, that's who, in my mind, I always figured that's who gastric bypass was for. Like for people who literally cannot fend for themselves anymore due to, food addiction and, a myriad of other reasons. And I was never like that. I'm super active. I'm otherwise healthy. Even when I was 400 pounds, like I don't have sleep apnea. I am not addicted to food. I am not an emotional eater. Like I didn't have a lot of the comorbidities. I do have high blood pressure, which is, it just started. Like I've never had it before. And I guess this year it kind of like went into the, what is it, pre-hypertension range or something like that. And I do have high cholesterol. That is hereditary. I've had high cholesterol for as long as I could remember. So the cholesterol thing isn't so much caused by obesity, but I'm pretty sure it's been amplified by me being fat. And when I was 29, that's, I feel like, when my symptoms of PCOS start to set in. And it's honestly, it's not that bad. Like I've always had an irregular period ever since I started. My mom was the same way. And I never really thought much about it. Like, I was always like, great, I don't have to deal with these cramps and everything else. Like, it's cool. It comes when it comes. And if it doesn't, then whatever, I'm fine. And so, but then the facial hair started coming in and I started having to shave every week. And I was like, okay, sis, I can't handle this. This is like way too much. And um, so it's been a lot to kind of like take in and to actually sit down and start to think and piece things together and say, okay, is this actually caused by obesity or is this just what they're going to say? Because when you're fat, no matter what's wrong with you, it's always caused by your fatness. It's like, oh, I have pink eye. It's like, yeah, it's because you're fat. And it's like, get the fuck out of here, right? And so, like, so even coming to that process of saying, okay, this is something that I want to pursue, especially because, like I said, I didn't have the quote unquote comorbidities or the symptoms or whatever you want to call it. So didn't even know if I would potentially be a good candidate because, like I said, I'm still active. I ride my bike. I live in Chicago and I don't drive. So I literally walk everywhere. Well, when I'm not in the Uber, but I do whatever I want. I am not at all limited or hampered by my size, and I don't have body image issues associated with being fat. Um, I never really cared, and my thing is, as long as it didn't interfere with the lifestyle that I want to live, then I'm fine with whatever size that I am, whether I'm a 14, 16, 22, 8, whatever the case may be. And that's always been my, I guess, like motto. And I feel like it will continue to be my motto even through this entire journey. So, yeah. And in the beginning, doing my research before I even did a consult or anything, and I was, not following people, but just kind of like checking out their pages on like different forums and um, here on Instagram and YouTube. Like a lot of the people that I was coming across, like it just, I don't know, it just didn't jive with me. Like I couldn't see myself in them, like, as far as experiences or anything else. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe this really isn't for me because this, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just felt like a lot of the experiences that people talk about with regards to living while being fat, like, I never had those issues or I never had those concerns. Like, a lot of people I see, like, one of their first, like, NSVs or, like, non-scale victories is, like, the airplane seatbelt. And that's so crazy to me because I get on an airplane and I'll be the first one to scream up the aisle, hey, excuse me, I need an extender. Like, I have no qualms about needing an extender. I don't feel shame about that. Like, I will never, ever, ever apologize for the space that I take up in this world. Ever. And I've never been treated unjustly because of my size. That's not to say that it doesn't happen. I don't want to make it seem like, because it doesn't happen to me, it doesn't exist. Hell no, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, those type of experiences, when I was researching, I was kind of like, okay, and that just further solidified it in my mind that maybe, you're not the right type of person for a procedure like this because your lifestyle isn't, it's not like you're struggling in any facet of your life because of your weight. And so, yeah, that's a long-winded way of just saying that. That's why it took me almost 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, to finally come to the point where I was actually ready to pursue it. And so I went to my first consult with my surgeon on May 17th of this year because insurance that I have through my employer or current or former employer actually covered bariatric surgery. So I was like, you know what? Huh. This is something that I could do since I already knew that like it would be covered and I wouldn't have to pay that much for it, and I wouldn't have to deal with like going to Mexico or trying to figure out a way to finance it or having to pay a shit ton of money to get it done. I kind of felt like it was like now or never type of thing, like either nut up or shut up basically. And so I started this process, yeah, on May 17th, and it it's been long, but I feel like it's been incredibly helpful. And I understand why insurance companies, they kind of give you that 6 month thing. I mean, on one hand, it's really a bunch of bullshit because they're just trying to get you to quit and not pursue it in the end. But I do think that it's incredibly helpful in helping you change your ways, your habits, so that hopefully life post-op won't be that big of a shock. And so for me, the biggest thing was just talking to a nutritionist because for me, I've never had a problem with overeating. My issue is always that I never ate enough. And when you don't consume enough calories, your body stores the fat from the food that you do eat, and it just holds on to that shit because they're like, listen, girl, we don't know when you're going to feed us next, and we got to keep functioning. So we're just going to hold on to this while you do what you got to do. And so basically, undereating is the same effect as overeating. You still just gain weight. And in 2014, I gained 30 pounds. And I mean, part of it was just stress and like, not eating enough, not sleeping enough, that whole thing. And, it wreaked havoc on my body in the sense of like, I gained 30 pounds in a year. That's insane. Literally, that's insane. And so it was just, it was figuring out how to change that behavior and to get my body used to and adjusted to eating multiple times a day, eating consistently, and also eating the right things, whatever the right things, are. And so when I first talked to my nutritionist, she kind of drove home the point. She was like, listen, you have to do this now. Like, you have to start doing this now. Don't wait until your 2 week pre-op diet and think that you're going to go from eating a whole medium pizza on, Sunday, and then Monday you're going to be trying to eat broccoli and spinach leaves and be satisfied. Like, it's not going to work like that. So the earlier you start, the smoother the transition will be. And so for me, that's absolutely what happened. I had my first nutritionist session on June 27th, I believe. And the next day, I literally threw out every single thing in my cabinets and in my refrigerator and took the little packet that they gave us of, healthier foods, and I just went grocery shopping with that, and I filled my house with that. And like, I live, it's just me here, so I don't have to worry about temptations being brought in the house, although I don't really believe in temptations because you eat what you want to eat and that's it. And that was it. And so I really just hit the ground running from starting June 18th until today. Like, I've just tried to be way more conscious about the things that I do eat, how much of it I eat. I bought a food scale so that I'm measuring everything. And I think she told me my first goal was to just eat consistently. Like, she was like, I don't much care about what you're eating. I just want you to get to a point where you're actually eating 3 meals a day, 3 meals and 2 snacks. And so do I have my phone over here? No, I don't have it, but I have like 8 alarms in my phone set up every day. That's just like breakfast time, snack time, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. Like, because if I don't, I will forget and I just will not eat anything. And so trying to break that behavior again, that was the hardest thing. Because, you just get so wrapped up in life. You're at work, you got deadlines, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. And the last thing I'm thinking about is eating fucking breakfast or anything like that. And so once I kind of got my body on a schedule, then it was easier because then my body got used to it. And then, when 3 o'clock came and that alarm went off and I was like, oh, I'll wait until 4, my body was like, no, sis, it's time to eat now. Like, what are you doing? And so now that I'm on that schedule, it's much easier. And I feel like it was not easier for me to lose weight, but it definitely helped, I guess I should say. And for so long, they've been drilling in your head to kind of like only eat when you're hungry, only eat when you're hungry. And so that's what I would do. Like, if I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. But it got to the point where it would be 24, 36 hours and I still hadn't eaten anything. And at that point, no good can come from that. So you just have to figure out the middle ground. And I will say that since talking to my nutritionist and kind of like getting a better idea of what's nutritious and what's nutritious about it, I feel like I'm way more knowledgeable and better equipped to make those decisions when I'm in the grocery store. And also the second part was just learning how to cook. Like, I'm not interested in cooking. I'm not really a domestic type of person. I don't really want to cook. I don't really care to clean. I'd rather pay someone to do that because I'm more focused on A, making money, and B, just enjoying my life. So like this mundane day-to-day domestic stuff, I have no interest in it. And so that's worked out great for me. Like, I make enough money that I can do those things and I can have those luxuries, and it's been amazing. But on the flip side is that the food that I was consuming probably wasn't the healthiest, because I love pizza. Not Chicago style pizza, but real nice, good pizza. And like, I can eat it 3 or 4 times a week. Like, I'll just grab a slice and that'll be dinner, and that's it. But probably shouldn't do that. Just saying, you probably need some vegetables in there, get some real nutrition in your body. But, now that I've taught myself to cook, I've been like using Pinterest to like gather recipes and just try things out. Like, I was sure that when I cooked anything, it was all going to go up in smoke. But over these past 6 months, I've been slowly building my skill set so that now when Thanksgiving comes, I can actually make something when I go visit my family. I can say, oh, okay, I'll make this. Or, instead of the mac and cheese, I'll make the cauliflower mac and cheese and, bring something to the table as opposed to just a fork and a fork and a knife. So, yeah. So, I mean, like I said, the 6-month process was incredibly long and kind of tedious, and it was kind of annoying because Northwestern is so booked, and it was like 6 weeks between appointments, and you're kind of like, can we speed this up a little bit? Like, why do I have to wait so long to talk to the, psychologist or the medical evaluation or whatever the fuck all that shit was? It was just too long. And I was like, I don't have time for this. Like, I wanted this to happen, honestly. I would have preferred to have this happen in the summertime just because winter in Chicago is awful and I don't like daylight savings time, and it kind of fucks with me because when I wake up it's dark and then when I get off of work it's dark, and so I just feel like I lost so much time to be outside and be active because it's pitch black at 5:30. And so like that's the only thing I'm not looking forward to post-op, like to force myself to get up and make sure that you're in the gym, even though it feels like it's fucking 2 in the morning and it's only 6 p.m. So that'll be a big hurdle for me going forward, I know. Um, but yeah, this has been 20 minutes. I've just been talking and I'm going to stop now. And I will hopefully update soon. Hopefully. I don't know. I'm just doing this like off the cuff. I don't have anything planned out. So we'll see how this goes.